Ah, the crisp, fresh air. Fall's a weird time to go camping, but it's nice to get away from it all. Screens, the news, Twitter. However, whenever I'm out here in the wilderness, the great outdoors, I can only ever think of one thing. I still consider myself to be relatively new to movement shooters. Heck, just a couple of years ago, I looked back at games like Call of Duty and thought, wow, those shooter games, am I right? With their hide behind cover like a coward gameplay and long time to heal, only to peek back out and immediately get domed by some guy across the map. No, I'm not projecting. Skill issues, what do you ask? Eventually, I discovered this little known game franchise. You might not have heard of it. It's called Doom 2016 was genre-defying. At least for me. Up to this point, I'd really only played, So when a relative had picked up the game and forced me against my will to play, I went from, I'm a good loving Christian boy who would never engage in such immature, deplorable behavior, to literally as soon as mid-tutorial. How many other games can get someone to completely turn around as soon as mid-tutorial? I mean, seriously, those are usually boring. Instead of hiding from the enemy and frequently waiting long stretches between combat encounters, you're knee-deep in hell, quickly swapping between weapons, chasing monsters down, beating the shit out of them, weaving in and out of enemy attacks. Hell, if you need health, you don't fall back and slowly heal, desperately searching your inventory or environment for a health pack. Instead, you're rushing down enemies, overwhelming them with quick, deadly attacks to stagger them, opening them up for special beatdowns that can refill a good chunk of your health. It's the best kind of way to heal because it actually forces you to engage with the combat system and punishes campy styles of play, as well as forcing yourself to keep calm during the most stressful situations for the most optimal run-saving plays. Doom 2016 made me realize that there's more to video games than just hold one button to zoom through the entire stage. And it made me look further into this subgenre about this elusive moving and shooting. That's where yeah, did I, like, miss a key or something? Where's the key? Oh. That's why. I found Dusk because I was looking for a funny game to play. I mean, come on, look at them. These guys are as if classic Roblox and Minecraft fused fricked together and this guy came out. However, as the popular saying goes, I came looking for copper, and I found gold. So what's so interesting about Party World Funcraft 3 AM Edition, I hear you ask? It looks like a generic cash grab shooter that you'd find on the App Store. Well, thanks, Craig. I'm very glad you asked. However, if you ever speak out of line again, I will break you. In this game, we take control of the treasure hunter, and don't you dare say Dusk guy, that's a slur in these parts. Here, we call him Dusk Dude, tangled up in occult affairs involving demons, Lovecraftian monsters, and the entire rat population of New York. Oh god, this is already the worst level in the game. I know, some scary shiz. You can tell that the game is going all out when the first thing you see in the game is 3 chainsaw wackos sprinting at you while you've got nothing to defend yourself but the very meat hooks that are just holding you up to dry. And people give Dr. Salvador crap in RE4 for being too hard early in the game. Nevertheless, it is still a good introductory level that gives you plenty of time to understand the mechanics before it throws the real shiz at you. Heck, after that sentence, you'd expect me to say that this game is only for hardcore veterans of the zoom zoom move shoot genre. But actually, I'd say it's one of the more accessible games, unlike insert overly complicated ultra kill play ever.
Don't do it. I'm a virgin.
Instead, you move and shoot. Because of the simple setup, it allows the game to have plenty of options for expanding on the formula in different ways, with different enemies, gameplay gimmicks, and level design to keep things interesting. There's no fluff with Dusk, no MJ stealth sections, no werehog gameplay, no unnecessary complexities like the entirety of Cruelty Squad, You just grab a shotgun and start blasting. Heck, while you're at it, why not grab 2 shotguns and cause permanent damage to your wrists, while you dual wield 2 boomsticks. A really good idea to have basic weapons keep up with their later, better versions. Hell, if you're crafty enough, you can get every weapon in the game by mission 3. Groovy. Not to mention there are other level gimmicks that can do things like turn all of your guns into rapid fire weapons and turn all of your rapid fire weapons into Or what about the power that allows you to climb anything? Anything! Turning all the levels from horizontal boringness to vertical scaling combat that has you jump around like Spider-Man if he wasn't afraid to use guns. What about the level gimmick that lets you flip the entire stage? We are only scratching the surface here. Everything in this game is simple, yet effective. Grabbing the classic Doom and Quake style of gameplay, like hunting for keycards to open up more locations on the map to progress, leading to backtracking and remixed enemy locations, or looping back to where you were, and only sometimes getting completely lost on the other side of Florida. I think I might have taken a wrong turn on Albuquerque. Along the way, you'll be forced to tangle with a wide variety of threats, such as YouTube commenters, Sniper Wolf simps, very nice welcoming men in white sheets who I'm sure have no ulterior motives, most child-friendly cuties enjoyers, and who could forget the most dangerous of them all? Big John.
Come and kill me! Do it now! Do it!
Hey, I mean, he was asking for it. No, I mean, literally, he was asking for it. Sound too intimidating? Well, don't worry, you can play this game as passive as Undertale by just running from everything, or have these freaks of nature duke it out themselves by having one accidentally strike the other, or using the power of those god-darned 4 Chaos Emeralds, having them revert back to their rebellious preteen days and decide to blame their parents for all their problems. Surprisingly, it's a lot harder to do than you would think. Especially when some enemies get special intros, like the famous influencer, Moist Critical. At first, it's just business as usual. You know, you break into some random place, you break some stuff, you solve some puzzles, break down some walls, and you know, the normal Dusk experience. However, you'll very quickly notice one major thing that is very odd. You are completely alone. Which is actually really strange, since normally you're getting attacked left, right, up, down, and center. Likely this will leave you to be a little on edge, expecting an ambush at any moment, which will make the weird noises you start hearing all the more unsettling. That sounds slightly terrifying. Eventually, you finally find a keycard and make your way down into the actual mines in it themselves. I'm sure most of you have probably already put together what's about to happen, but the question is, are you prepared to act? The Wendigo, Moist Critical is definitely one of the most interesting enemies in the game for me. An enemy that will stalk you while it's invisible, and if you discover it, it'll just bum rush at you. This enemy will frequently reappear throughout the game, and it's never really annoying, it just forces you to be aware of your surroundings and the noise. Not good enough, I hear you say? Well, let's see what's behind option B. let your brain painstakingly wonder on what happens next. Or, you know, you could just play the game yourself. Sound design is an all-powerful, all-knowing god, and sound designers are the cult leaders who give us access to this mysterious force. Translation from British, good sounds make good game. The atmosphere in situations like these is what makes them so intense. Wondering what could be behind every corner. I mean, yeah, you're an unstoppable force, I could bulldoze anything, but hey, Goku's lost to some dumb stuff too, so what makes you so special? I may have also forgotten to mention that this is actually a horror game too, and unlike most horror games in this style, it actually goes deeper than just loud sounds equals scary or walking simulator. These situations would probably be about half as intense if it wasn't for the music and sound design. As a matter of fact, the combat music actually goes pretty hard in this game too. Who made it actually? Andrew? Oh, Andrew. The music, and I'm pretty sure the ambience, is done by Andrew Holschultz. Is he any good, you might be asking? Well, he's the guy who made the music you've been listening to this entire time, as well as the Doom Eternal DLC soundtrack, which means he's somewhere close to Mick Gordon. His soundtrack in this game is definitely more on the simple yet effective side, but to be fair, pretty much everything in this game is on that. Not only does his ambience capture the uncanny loneliness or the desolate, dangerous places in these locations, but when the music gets going, it's always a treat, hyping you up as things are about to escalate. I especially love it when later in the game, not only does it become more abundant, but it also becomes far more focused on giving you a feeling of descending into madness as the stages become more and more Lovecraftian and abstract. But that part of the game you'll have to experience yourself. Or, you know, you could just be a cheap coward and look up the ending and miss the deeper connection you get with the game and its world. Once again, translated from British, a beta male cuck. It doesn't matter if your game is a masterclass in game design, I'm still going to female dog about random things that bothered me personally. One of the main things I always found annoying in this game was how the level design can go from open-ended environments full of momentum building and bee-hopping to small, claustrophobic, enclosed environments. While this in itself isn't really a bad thing, it can get kinda carried away sometimes. Like how some parts of the game will just dump you into a pitch black place and saying that your thick rear end just broke the only source of light you have. What's literally a pitch black dark room with barely any way to navigate outside of these small little occasional bright landmarks. And yes, enemies can attack you here. There's not that many of these situations that pop up through the game, but they're still pretty annoying when they do. Another problem with the game is its simplicity. I know, I just praised it before, but it's kind of a double-edged sword when you really think about it. Because all you really do in the game is just jump and shoot, it can get kind of repetitive despite all of the gameplay gimmicks. It can still get a little monotonous, especially towards the end, looking at you final 2 levels. And sometimes the level design itself is against. As for example, the mama boss fight. She's a tall, scary, half-mechanical woman. Don't worry, there's probably the 34 of her online out there somewhere, but I'm not going to check. Who fires the same rockets that you do that chow down on your health faster than you can skip 2D sections in the Funny Boost Werehog game. Well, I hate to disappoint, but this boss fight is actually against the level design that instantly kills you if you make a minor mistake. I pray for Duskmere players who aren't abusing the save system. Just pretend that was a cool fight, okay? Just pretend that fight went well, okay? What you say? However, at the end of the day, those are all mostly just nitpicks. Hey guys, editing dev here. Here to say that somehow I forgot to mention the most annoying part of the game, the gauntlet. Like, it's just a stage where you have to like run around, activate some switches, and then go and then activate the switches from the main exit, and then you leave. But throughout the entire time, you're being chased by like 5 overpowered bosses that all have virtually instant kill moves that like launch a ton of physics-based like explosives at you in small areas. Yeah, it's like the worst stage in the game. Frick the gauntlet. Me and my homies hate the gauntlet. But the game isn't perfect, but really, what game is? And if you responded to anything along the lines of Genshin Impact, I'll slaughter you. In the end, Dusk is known for being one of the best indie movement shooters, and for a good reason. Fast-paced gameplay, adjustable difficulty that opens it up for players who want an absolutely brutal experience, or players who are afraid to go anywhere near a movement shooting game. Self-referential gameplay, the ability to do flips anywhere, at any time, cowardly 300 IQ moves, and dang, I've still yet to mention all of it. It's Stole the Soap instantly kills anything from Ultra Kill. Those powder cakes. My rating for the game? It's obvious. I give it a rush out of Unleashed. Classic retro gameplay recreation with modern touch-ups and gimmicks. Someone asked, why not Mania? Well, I have an unnecessary bias against it. Oh, well, you're not gonna play it? Well, it's made by the same guy who made Iron Lung. Does that ring a bell? I'm sure it does.